I worked on cruise ships for 7 years, and almost every week I watched the same pattern unfold. An elderly passenger had a medical emergency. The ship's medical center could not handle it. A helicopter was called. A $60,000 to $90,000 bill arrived. The insurance company refused to pay, and the family went into panic trying to figure out how to cover the cost. It happened so often that we had internal protocols as crew. We knew who to call, what forms to fill out, how to calm down relatives who were in tears. But nobody tells passengers any of this before they book, especially passengers over 70. You are statistically the highest risk group on any ship, and yet you hear the least about these realities. The medical center on a cruise ship is not a hospital. It is a small clinic designed for headaches, stomach bugs, minor cuts, and basic infections. There is no MRI, no advanced cardiac equipment, no operating room. Usually there is one doctor and one nurse. At night they are asleep like everyone else and must be called, get dressed, and walk to the medical center before they even see you. That can take 5 minutes. It can take 15. Passengers over 70 naturally have higher risks for heart attack, stroke, blood clots, and sudden cardiac events. On land you have ambulances, paramedics, and fully equipped hospitals. At sea you have one small room, limited drugs, and one overworked doctor doing their best with basic tools. When you are 8 hours from land, there is no backup team on the way. Sometimes the doctor's best simply is not enough. That is when the helicopter comes. Helicopter evacuations are where the real financial shock begins. Removing an adult from the middle of the ocean usually starts around $50,000. Bad weather, long distance, or extra equipment push it toward $90,000. Most passengers buy travel insurance that does not fully cover this. They see the word emergency in the brochure and assume everything is included. They do not read the exclusions. Pre-existing conditions, age limits, evacuation limits by region. I remember a 76-year-old man who collapsed during dinner. The doctor stabilized him as much as possible and ordered a helicopter. He survived, but a $60,000 bill arrived later. His insurer reviewed his history, saw a previous heart problem, labeled it pre-existing, and paid nothing. His family spent years paying off a vacation, and medical evacuation is only one category. In reality, there are at least 14 separate risk areas that hit older cruisers harder than anyone else. Some are medical, some physical, some financial. Almost all hide in fine print nobody reads. Cruise lines will never sit you down and say, "Here are all the ways this trip could go wrong for someone your age." So I will. The first physical risk is simple. Ships move. Even on calm days, there is a constant rocking. For passengers over 70, balance is not always perfect. A sudden wave or quick turn can throw you off your feet. Stairs between decks are narrow and steep. Wet floors are common near pools and open decks. Every season we saw falls. Hip fractures were the most common serious injury. I watched a 74-year-old woman walking on deck when the ship turned sharply. She fell hard, broke her hip, and her cruise ended on a stretcher. She was evacuated for surgery, then flown home on a medical transport plane. Her family canceled the rest of their trip and went home with bills instead of memories. Falls also happen in cabins. Bathrooms are tiny, showers are slippery, grab bars are not always in the right place. If you are traveling alone, an early morning fall can become dangerous. If you cannot reach the phone or the emergency button, nobody knows you are on the floor. Housekeeping might not come until afternoon. I have seen guests lying there for hours. The third major risk is financial and goes far beyond helicopters. Cancellation policies, change fees, port charges, and added services are all designed around the idea that you will accept the fine print without reading it. People over 70 are more likely to cancel late because their lives are less predictable. A new diagnosis, a bad test result, a doctor who suddenly says, "Do not travel," can appear days before departure. Cruise lines sell cancellation insurance, but it rarely covers everything. If you cancel less than a few weeks before sailing, and your paperwork is not considered severe enough, you may get half your money back or nothing at all. Cancel a $15,000 cruise and lose $8,000, and you feel it for a long time. Then there are shore excursions. Cruise lines sell ship-sponsored tours that promise safety and guaranteed return to the ship. They cost a lot. Independent operators often charge half the price for similar routes. The risk is time. If a private tour returns late, the captain is not waiting for you. Older passengers walk slower, need more bathroom breaks, and tire faster. If a guide runs the schedule too tightly, you can arrive back at the pier just in time to watch your ship disappear. I saw a 72-year-old couple in Athens who learned this the hard way. They booked a cheaper independent tour, hit traffic on the way back, and arrived minutes too late. The ship was gone. They paid for hotels, meals, and flights to reach the next port. The extra cost was around $3,000. Even ship tours have hidden problems. Groups are large, schedules are tight, and sites are not designed for older knees and hips. Ancient ruins mean uneven stones and long staircases. Hot climates mean buses with weak air conditioning. The brochure shows a gentle, explore Pompeii day. In reality, it can be 2 hours of continuous walking on rough ground. For a 78-year-old with knee problems, that is not sightseeing, it is punishment. You cannot cancel that morning without losing your money, so you either suffer or stay in your cabin. Drink packages and all-inclusive offers are softer traps but still expensive. Main dining is included, specialty restaurants are extra, and drink packages promise freedom. Water, soda, coffee, maybe alcohol. Older passengers often do not drink enough to make them worthwhile. On some ships, even bottled water has a price. If you drink a few bottles of water plus coffee and tea, the bill looks large, so a package seems smart. But if you actually count your drinks, many of you will never reach the break-even point. Crew are trained to sell packages and sometimes receive commission. They are following company policy, not plotting against you. But the result is the same. You pay extra for peace of mind, not realizing that your actual consumption would have cost far less. The casino is a harder topic to talk about because it mixes money and emotion. Ship casinos sit in the middle of everything. You walk through them to reach shows and restaurants. Lights flash, music plays, drinks flow, and clocks are nowhere to be seen. For many older passengers, the casino feels like the social heart of the ship. You talk to people, laugh, and feel alive. Meanwhile, your cabin card quietly tracks every bet. I met a man in his early 70s who brought part of his retirement savings to have fun. He lost $5,000 the first day and spent the rest of the cruise trying to win it back. By the last night, he was down $12,000. On land, physically handing over that much cash might have stopped him. On board, he only tapped his card. The weight of each decision was hidden behind plastic. For passengers with limited mobility, the ship's very design becomes a risk. Some decks are only reachable by stairs. Elevators exist, but during busy times they are full and slow. For someone using a walker or wheelchair, getting to dinner can feel like a small expedition. Leave early, wait for elevators, navigate crowds, and repeat the whole process when you are tired after the meal. Many ships advertise accessibility, but ramps can be steep, doors heavy, corridors narrow. On the phone you will often hear, "No problem," because agents want the booking. The actual problems appear when you are already at sea and have few options to change anything. Heat is another quiet threat, especially in the Caribbean and Mediterranean. Decks are open, shade is limited, and metal surfaces reflect the sun. Older passengers tolerate heat less well. Dehydration, dizziness, and fainting are regular reasons people visit the medical center. Yes, you can stay inside in the air conditioning, but you did not pay thousands of dollars to sit in a lounge all day. Medication and time zones create their own cluster of risks. On a 2-week cruise, you need at least 2 weeks of medication, plus extra in case of delays. If you lose a box of pills or drop some down the sink, replacing them at sea is difficult. The medical center carries only basic drugs. Refilling specialized prescriptions in foreign ports means language barriers, different brand names, and uncertain dosages. If you take pills at 8 every day, do you follow ship time or home time? Some medications are very time-sensitive. A few hours early or late can matter. The cruise line will not give you detailed medical instructions. You are expected to figure it out, or pay to call your doctor from the ship. Behind all this sits one more layer nobody talks about in brochures: law. Cruise lines operate under maritime law, not the law of your home country. Your rights, your options after an incident, your ability to demand compensation, all of it is narrower at sea. Understanding that reality in advance does not remove risk, but it keeps you from assuming the company will fix every problem or reimburse every loss. Often they are not legally required to. All of this can sound like a warning to stay home, but that is not the point. I have seen many passengers in their 70s and 80s have wonderful trips because they prepare and treat the cruise like what it really is: a floating city with limited medical support and a lot of fine print. For a start, buy travel insurance that clearly covers your age group, your pre-existing conditions, and emergency evacuation. Do not just tick a box on a website. Read the policy. Call the company. Ask simple questions. Does this cover helicopter evacuation from a ship? Up to what amount? Are my known conditions excluded? Is there an age limit? If the answers are vague, choose another company. Spending more up front can save you $50,000 later. Choose your cabin with stability and distance in mind. Midship on a lower deck usually means less motion. Avoid the very front, the very back, and the highest decks if you are sensitive to movement. Request a cabin close to an elevator if walking long distances is tiring. With excursions, err on the side of caution. If you are over 70, ship tours are often the safer choice, even if they cost more. The ship will wait for its own tour buses. Guides are used to a slower pace, and there are procedures if someone needs help. If you still want to book independently to save money, only do it in ports where the ship stays overnight, or where the town is very close and delays are unlikely. Avoid long bus rides on tight schedules. Skip drink packages unless you are certain you will use them. Pay as you go and bring a refillable bottle. Ask staff to fill it with water, or use safe tap water when available. You will probably spend far less. If you enjoy the casino, set a strict budget before you sail and treat it like the cost of a show. When the money is gone, you are finished. No exceptions. No, just one more night. If you have mobility issues, contact the cruise line well before departure. Explain exactly what you need. Request a wheelchair-accessible cabin if necessary. Ask what equipment they can provide and what you must bring yourself, and get those answers in writing. Then pack your own essential aids anyway. Keep all medications in your carry-on. Bring at least double what you need, in original containers if possible, along with a written list of doses and your doctor's contact details. Carry copies of your prescriptions. If you need a refill in a foreign port, that paper can be the difference between getting the right drug and guessing. Protect yourself from heat by planning your day. Do outdoor activities early morning or late afternoon. Wear a hat, drink water regularly, and rest before you feel exhausted. Eat reasonably. Choose smaller portions. Add vegetables and protein and slow down. Most crew members genuinely want you to have a good time. We see patterns quickly. When you ask honest questions, many of us will quietly warn you about traps and give you simple tips to stay safe. We are not trying to scare you. We are trying to prepare you, because prepared passengers are calmer, kinder, and easier to help when something does go wrong. So now you know the main categories of risk for passengers over 70. Medical evacuation costs, limited medical equipment, fall hazards, bathroom dangers, cancellation losses, excursion problems, drink package traps, casino risks, mobility challenges, heat issues, medication problems, time zone confusion, legal differences, and the gap between marketing promises and actual conditions. Some of these you can control, some you cannot, but knowing they exist lets you prepare. Preparation reduces risk. Reduced risk means a calmer mind and a better vacation, and a better vacation is what you paid for. Ask yourself which of these risks concerns you most, and what you will adjust before your next cruise. Share your experience in the comments if you have sailed before, and if this helped you, subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone over 70 who is planning a cruise. The more you know before you sail, the safer and happier you will be at sea.